Welcome back, attractive and well-educated watchers, to a brand new episode of the Grand Crusade. Last time we left off, Skanatar, the captain of the great vessel that arrived on the Bulgarian coast, had locked in the autopilot to take them back to the nearest colony on the frontier of the Besgorix Empire, and then got absolutely killed to death by Matei. And if Matei wouldn't have done it, Father Mihaly probably wouldn't have been able to hold Malmbjorn back for that long. So in the meantime, everybody feel free to introduce yourselves.
I'm Malmborn. I'm the current rage-filled monster right now, and I have taken offense to being called attractive. So next person.
I am Father Mihaly Pop, one of the only sane people on this vessel who I tried to stop him, and and you know that worked for a while, but then the next person didn't do. Hey,
you did stop me, but someone else.
I did, and that person is.
I am Matei of Argamum. And I have cut the throat of the man who betrayed us and sent us hurtling into space to places unknown.
Nice.
I mean, can it be a betrayal if they were the enemy anyway?
Yeah, because they were originally supposed to send us somewhere else on basis of not killing him.
Well, touche.
And I'm the last one.
Your name, please.
I'm Boyo Fullcard. And I consider myself the smart one of the group. I'm kidding.
I mean, you're not entirely wrong.
Well, that makes two of us then.
So
we think it's funny that all of you probably in character think that you're all individually completely reasonable and everybody else in the party is completely nuts.
Nope.
So, I don't know. Were you recording the section where I took a bite?
We don't remember right now. We don't remember right now. But the video's out, so you know.
Okay. Well, if in the event that that part wasn't recorded, because I was so livid at the how do you pronounce that again?
Besgorix.
Besgorix. And being denied the kill and having the kill stolen, I just irrationally just took a bite out of the captain.
And it was determined by rolls that was the most disgusting thing you have ever put in your mouth. And you're Danish.
But there's and we're 30 days ahead now, and the memory still haunts my tongue.
Yeah, this is 30 days later.
Unsurprisingly.
Every time I pass one in the hallway, I gag momentarily.
You now know that this entire species, not good to eat. Yeah.
Speaking of this entire species, the Besgorix?
Yeah.
Right? Did you explain the joke behind the name?
So in the original inspiration behind this campaign, which is the book The High Crusade by Paul Anderson, written in 1960, the antagonist alien species, they're very different than the Besgorix, but they're called the Worsgorix. So we called these guys the Besgorix because we wanted them to be cooler and better.
Well, I made a joke. I called them the worst. The Worsgorix.
Yeah, Boyle Card kept calling the Worsgorix the Worsgorix, and we were like, oh.
That's kind of hard to pull off on the tongue.
Yeah. Much like some of their language.
I was joking them that way.
Yeah, it totally caught on, so we did the Besgorix.
I don't know if you noticed, but in real life, jokes go over my head, so you may have to explain a couple of them to me.
Yeah, there's actually going to be a lot of wordplay and jokes based off of the original in this one, so get good, scrub. But Yeah, we're pretty excited for today. This takes place 30 days later, roughly. And we'll do some fun little block text here, and then we'll get into role playing. Oh my god, we've been attacked. Attacked by a whoop. Don't do that. After the heartbreaking betrayal by Scanitar at the summary execution for his treason, his second in command, a somewhat more impressive example of the species named Bantahar, steps up into the captain's role. Bantahar is somewhat larger and more broad by comparison, a rival patriarch to Scanitar who had once hoped to be captain but whose clan had lost out in the competition for authority. Now, with much of Scanitar's clan dead and Scanitar himself unseated from his authority, Bantahar is in charge of the entirety of the Besgorix crew. Cowed by the just punishment dealt out by Malmbjorn and Mate at Scanitar's treason, Bantahar is considerably more cooperative. He does his best to maintain the crew and teaches what is asked of him without complaint or resistance. Indeed, at times Bantahar almost seems too polite and cooperative to be trusted, but he is always watched by those who would gladly bisect him if given even the smallest of reasons. Even still, he does insist that the might of the Besgorix Empire will turn back on you, regularly alerting you to the fact that this is merely a scout ship used for prospecting and taking new planets if at all possible. Surely, if the Besgorix had seen how dangerous humans were before landing, they would have quickly fled after a sample recovery mission and delivered news back to the Empire that this planet requires immediate interdict. However, no signals had ever been sent, and under such tight guard, it was impossible to warn the Empire of your travel to their most distant colony of Jenterzi, which took a month. Zupan Ivan ensures that the common folk know nothing of the journey, instead insisting upon them that they must detour before the Holy Land and battle with the Besgorix before retaking Jerusalem. After all, it was the Besgorix who chose to attack a ready army in the first place. Surely they could not have assumed the Bulgarians would merely sit around on soft cushions in response. And so, with great eagerness, the soldiers cheered and trained for battle while the common folk mostly slept when not tending to important duties, such as feeding the animals, cooking for the men, and training for their arrival in some strange new land. The hallways are always lit, though... Oh, goddamn. We have a new mouse, and it's very squirrely.
Sorry.
It's cool. It's cool. We're just still we're still getting used to it. It's extremely squirrely. The hallways are always lit, though some chambers can be darkened considerably by special glowing runes along the walls. Fortunately, they are easy enough to read once one learns from the Besgorix what they say. The armories are full to the brim with thousands of light weapons, both for one hand and for two, and there are many large floating machines that slide through the air as one might slide across ice on a winter pond. Some, particularly the master blacksmith Sixtus Malevich, have toyed around with the controls that allow them to move back and forth, and he has discovered that such things might be ridden like a horseless wagon by many warriors at a time, though they do not move as fast as a horse in gallop. And, at times, the viewing rooms are opened to look out upon the black twinkling night that surrounds the ship, with the sun a tiny dot in the distance. Before you comes a new dot, less luminous but similar in color. When you had left Earth and traveled through the blackness of night, you saw many brilliant balls, planets that passed you by, many large swirling masses, and one with great rings about it. Of all of you, only Boyo Folkhard seemed unsurprised by this, though the sight itself is still so fascinating that perhaps Boyo is the most interested of all. But what goes around this new sun, you cannot yet tell. It will be, so you are told by Bantahar, just 3 more of your days until you are able to see the outermost planets of this new system clearly. But he claims that Jenterzi is the newest jewel in the crown of the Empire, with many good resources. In anticipation of this event, you have all been called to the Zupan's chambers, wherein his wife is entertaining his youngest boy, only 5 years old, who seems to have his father's strength and force of personality, but none of the polish that will come with age and experience. A precocious but delightful young man who seeks to be everything that he's supposed to be. The Zupan's 3-year-old daughter excitedly runs to embrace Malmbjorn as you enter his chambers, and then Father Mihaly, before being led away by her nurse. Smiling as she leaves, the Zupan's face goes serious before he turns to all of you, waving his son forward to sit next to him on a small stool while his wife waits patiently in the corner, watching, waiting. I'm glad to see that, indeed, there is light returning to our bearing, Yvonne tells you all with a bit of a sigh. This ship is truly a kingdom unto itself, with tide pools and great hallways, climbing hooks, and open chambers within which to train. Every day I find myself discovering something I swore was not there the day before. Surely there can only be so much knowledge of a location one man can gather by himself even in a month, and I have been busying myself keeping the people calm and ready. He stands with another sigh, and steps to the side in a telltale sign of a man about to pace back and forth. I have been told by my translators that the Besgorix say there is no hope in resisting, that we should surrender as soon as we arrive at this Jenterzi, and throw ourselves at their mercy, whatever they have. But, of course, I do not have to tell you why this cannot be allowed. And even if we arrive at this place and then merely take our leave, surely the Besgorix will return to Earth and take over our people with so many ships as this one. We cannot return, and we cannot do what the Besgorix want either, for surely the same result will follow if we throw down our arms and call upon what mercy they seem capable of. We all know what they expect to make us. We all know that they expect to make us their slaves in such an incident, and I will not serve that which I might instead crush beneath my boot. Surely, he insists, you all must have something more for me that shines light on this dark circumstance. What say you?
I do, my lord.
One moment. That's Matei.
No, that was
sorry,
me.
Malmor. No, we hadn't got our Discord back open yet.
Oh, let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, we're ready.
Okay. I do, my lord.
Malmbjorn, what say you?
It is with great pleasure that I have witnessed that these creatures have no sense of combat prowess. They seem to rely solely on their machines, yet have no knowledge of tactics.
Truly, then. Tell me more. How could you tell this?
Oh crap! Now I got to reread it. One sec.
We told you. You gotta know this stuff, man.
I did, but thought I did.
Well, you send us like 4 pages of stuff.
Yeah, we know. Gave you like 4 hours of time.
4 hours is not enough time if you want us to memorize stuff.
Because they're haphazard. Come on, man.
You didn't give me any information on how I found this out.
You actually, we specifically mentioned that you could tell that because they scattered around on the battlefield instead of actually getting in any kind of formation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't have any noticeable formations or order to their movements or anything like that. Yeah.
Okay, that was buried in the text. So
Yeah.
Sorry
about that.
Yeah, just have your DMs in a separate window as you speak.
Oh,
that's what I'm doing.
That's what I do have. But
yeah,
the problem is, like I said, it was buried in the text.
Our bad. Sorry about that, guys. We're trying.
No, you're fine. I just hope it didn't throw a wrench into things.
It's fine. Jump back into the roleplay.
My lord, merely by watching the way they fight, it is clear that they do not have a sense of cohesion. They seem to be out for themselves.
That makes sense. They scattered when I ran my horse down the main hallway. I merely thought they were scared of quite such a noble steed.
Well, we are quite larger to them, so that is a very, very understandable assumption. We know nothing of these creatures, so we do not know their tactics, if any, but from my knowledge, we we have far more experience against them. They are like children with only using the might of their toys.
Fascinating. So they know nothing of combat, not real combat, like the good Bulgarians know how to do.
That's actually a good point. You say they're like children. That is truer than you think. While they are highly intelligent, they're also extremely curious, like a child, and they tend to daydream.
Truly. Easily distracted then.
They're very playful as well.
Huh.
Very distractible.
I know how to take care of children, that much is true.
But how have children come to be about with these magnificent tools?
That's the intelligence.
Yes, they're incredibly intelligent and very curious. They enjoy learning as much as they can. However, at the same time, they don't, outside of the tactics, appear to be very cohesive as a race. It appears that most of them live one family ruled by one patriarch and view themselves as superior to all others, even others of their own species. Every single patriarch views their family as the best that there is. Now, they may be courteous to one another, but they still look down on each other as superior. So I feel it wouldn't be too terribly difficult to separate, divide and conquer, as it were, each family individually, because they appear to run a medium-sized family. It's not very large, but it's also not very small, but they have massive land for each one of these families. So it's almost like there's not many in a large area, and they don't communicate as often as our lords under our kings do.
Do they not have kings that they function over? Is it all some tribal system like the Saracens in Arabia?
As far as I can tell, it appears to be so. It's almost like for all of their advancements, for all of their intelligence, for all of these things that they have, they're as backwater as the Saracens.
Fascinating.
I concur with Matei, and that is not the only thing that and it is not just that I have discovered about them.
Really? He's getting a little excited here.
This is. Sorry. Continue.
My lord, over the past month, I'm sure you are aware that I have taken 9 of these Besgorix as my disciples.
Right, of course.
Yes, and one of them, whom I have christened as Pitar, seems to have become quite interested in learning the ways of the Lord.
And sorry, I'm actually continuing off your conversation. But how can we be sure we can trust these creatures that would so readily betray their own kind?
That I am not sure of, but the time will come to determine that. Anyways, if I may continue.
My apologies.
It seems these Besgorix, they have come to learn our language quicker than I would have expected. And Pitar especially. I was able to convince him to speak to my cousin and I to the Archimandrite, and there we learned some of their beliefs, and which is to say they do not seem to have many, or if any at all. They do not it seems that they do not wonder about the stars or about the divine or any such things at all.
Truly.
It does not seem so, but it's odd. They, as far as I can tell, they have souls which grants them the ability to think and reason. So clearly, they had to have been made by a god, our god.
Right. Oh, of course.
So So it is strange to me.
Don't they have their own messiah? Some strange flying centipede version of our own Christ?
No, they do not. So Pitar says.
God.
How strange.
Strange.
I am as confounded as you, my lord. But I am sure there is more to learn yet.
Truly,
It has only
there
been a
must
month
be.
after all.
Right. We must research their culture more, and by God, we need to give some of these guys a baptism.
I
agree.
learned, my
Going
lord.
full anachronistic right there.
I have also learned, my lord, something else that might be beneficial for us potentially stopping an invasion of any kind, of their kind, on our planet. They appear to be incredibly selfish. And if we could possibly provide a suitable incentive, such as, I don't know, food and other items that they have never heard of, or even have any idea of them, which, by the way, I have learned of a few things that might work, we might be able to turn them on each other. Because it appears that the only reason that they haven't just turned on each other already is due to a drive to expand in order to prevent turning on each other. As I said earlier, they see themselves as superior. So I believe in this strange culture of theirs where they only have meat, like just meat, and it's not any meat we've ever had, that things such as eggs, milk, butter, cheese, produce, we might be able to convince them to work for us.
They did squabble quite fiercely in the tide pools back home.
Are you suggesting we make allies of these things?
No. Tools.
Slaves, then?
Tools. No.
Are any of them in the room with us right now?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
No, this is the private audience in the Zupan's personal chambers. Yeah.
It's like a council meeting, essentially.
So right now, what you've got is you guys, the Zupan, his son, and his wife.
No, more use them as tools, because we clearly don't really want them to come back at all, and we need to go back home, but we need to go back in a way that they can't follow us.
Well, slow down a moment, Mate. Father Mihaly, you say that one of them, Petar, he seems genuine, though. What of the others? Is there a difference in their devotion?
They seem to more use the study of the Word of God as not as religious devotion, but more as something that they find useful. Though I'm not sure in what way they mean.
And how does Petar differ?
Well, I suppose it is just a feeling.
Well, the Archimandrite brought you into this, and I have no reason to distrust his opinion of you. Your cousins, after all, and We've seen you here many times for many years. I've learned to trust your opinions. If you think that they can be properly converted, then perhaps the Word of God could bring them to the fore. Along with benefits, as Matei said. Cheese and eggs, you say they have none of?
They have never even heard of it. The sheer idea of it is foreign to them. They make their food in vats. Like,
Vats.
yeah, they have giant vats that produce this meat, is the best thing I can describe it as. It
Like a great cauldron in the floor that magically produces steak.
Yeah. Yes, my lord, except it is not any meat that we have ever eaten before. It is very strange.
I imagine not. Is it at least palatable?
It
It is
for a hungry
compared
warrior.
compared to what I've had. It is heaven on the tongue, my lord. I can promise you.
I'm sure you would, Malmbjorn. Oh.
The
Boyo, what do you make of these strange meat-making vats and other such strange devices that they claim to have? Is it possible that ships could be even larger and more ferocious than this?
I don't see why not. That there's nothing here that would tell me that this is the largest that they would have to offer.
If it is indeed a scout ship, I can't imagine it being bigger than their flagship.
Or a warship, per se.
The mind box. It took me several minutes to run down the great hall of the ship on my horse.
Imagining a larger such craft is quite frightening indeed. But I wonder if the controls might be similar. Maybe we could take one.
Perhaps.
Out of character, were we able to unlock the controls yet? Because last time
No.
Besgorix, no, they're still locked
No,
down.
you haven't arrived at the planet yet.
Okay.
Yeah, it was established last time that the controls will stay locked until we land.
Oh, okay.
This is on autopilot.
So the Zupan's bringing you in because he says it's about 3 days until you get there, so he wants to plan for what to do.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, my lord, one idea is we can ambush them. Hide the ship is large. We can hide the people somewhere deep in the back. Wait for them to come in the ship to take some out before whatever our next move may be, or we could just rush the gates of the ship once they open.
After landing?
Yes.
I'm told we'll have control of the ship before we land it, but after we get into... I'm told it's called orbit. It's been explained to me as falling but never hitting the ground, however that works. Once we're in this orbit, I'm told we'll have full control of the ship back.
Well, if we can control it, then we must immediately find an isolated location where we won't be discovered. So we can... having a brain fart. I'm trying to find the right word. It's not rally.
Perhaps establish a base camp.
There we go. Sorry, the brain fart.
Matei, what say you about this? You're our best scout. Are you and your men able and willing to go through completely unknown territory to establish some hidden location for our people?
Of course, my lord.
20,000.
Well, of course, my lord. That is our purpose and existence for your army. And with their a surprising lack of tactics that they do have, it should be quite simple for us to avoid detection and learn what we need to learn in order to best either take over or use these people.
Well, a smart party may be able to avoid being caught, but this ship is gigantic. And if their toys can see other ships, who's to say they won't see us? They see the ship at least, and come in for the civilians.
Indeed. And we know that the eyes of the ship can see planets in great detail as they go by, as we saw when we left from our sun. He seems sad at that and looks at the ground for a moment. So no doubt such a large craft as this will be seen on the way. Even back at home we saw it coming from some distance through the heavens. And the noise it makes. By God, the noise.
So we must prepare for the possibility of abandoning the ship as well.
Or for immediate battle.
Correct.
I prefer battle over abandoning the ship. Once such a craft as this is in my hands, I am not wont to surrender it.
That is true, my lord. But unfortunately, this is no castle. We do have people to protect, and as far as I can tell, if we cannot make it to Earth, that means we are the last humans out here.
Indeed.
Might we also use the Father's new disciples, possibly, to convince their kind that we have been enslaved for now, and maybe sneak our way past their opening defenses and then attack them unprepared?
A canny method, Mate. Canny indeed. I like the sound of this. Father Mihaly, would your best disciple do such a thing?
I must object, sir. I cannot trust these things.
But what other option do we have, Malmbjorn?
Well, I must concede I do not know.
I would be willing to speak to Pitar about it.
Do so. If there is any chance that we can trust Pitar, then he is possibly our best option.
I have an out-of-character question.
Sure.
Only because I don't know if we talked about it already.
Yeah.
In discussing their technology with these guys, have I learned about any kind of protections that other ships or locations have?
Like shields and stuff.
Shields and stuff, yeah.
Ships in general are all made of the same thing. They don't have anything like energy shields or anything like that. At least not on ships. Possibly on fortresses. They have defenses, but they're remarkably tight-lipped about it. You have to assume. One moment, actually, we're gonna check our notes real quick. I hope you don't mind. You have to assume that their buildings and the larger ships are made of the same stuff as this ship. And we believe we did send you information about like what the ship is made of and stuff like that and what it's weak to.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I believe so.
So yeah, what this ship is made of is kind of the stock and trade of the Empire's like material sciences as a whole. So that's pretty much what you're gonna get. You know the thing about the ice. Presently the ship is covered in ice, so so there's that. Yeah, it's pretty much what you see is what you get. Did we ever send you the stats for the ship?
Not to me.
No, we're talking to Boyo.
Not that I know of.
Oh
shit, we should have done that. We are so sorry. We will send that to you.
Fine. It's
right
fine.
Now.
On that note,
the reason I was asking is I just wanted to interject another option.
Oh.
Which would be, the obvious we're in a ship. I'm assuming it has weapons, and while it may not be able to,
Cannons.
form a warship, we have the element of surprise.
Indeed. Indeed. I like the sound of that.
And
Weapons,
another out of character comment. A while ago, you said you wanted to give us inventories. Are they needed right now?
They are
Because-
not needed right now.
Because
we
I'm
will-
not seeing anything.
Yeah, they are not needed right now. We will give you your inventories after this session.
Okay. I already have a
or
small.
before next session. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you. Sorry, we got distracted there. So you seek to go on the attack with the ship then.
I see no reason why we shouldn't be able to. By this point, at least I assume, partially out of character. By this point, I assume I would have enough information to, kind of know my way around. And I think with intense study within the next few days, I should be able to figure out how to operate stuff.
Good.
We also
I would also like to emphasize, my lord, that we do have women and children to take care of. We cannot lose our only means of transportation.
Of course.
That is a good point. And who's to say that their castles and fortresses that I assume they would not have similar weaponry to that of the ship and could fire back.
Indeed.
Again, we have the element of surprise, and they do tend to stay very spread out. They don't like each other much.
It seems to be one of the few things that we can all agree on. Yes,
Which could give us the opportunity to bombard a castle before it's even aware and needs to raise its defenses. Because if it is taken out like that, then we could simply move on to the next, and the next, and the next, and the next.
Eventually, they will find us. We need to set up a base first, if that is the route we wish to take.
Well, if we're able to take the first castle on their planet, then we can keep that as our base, can we not?
That is true, my lord.
Use their own defenses against them.
If we fire upon it and destroy it, as Boyo has said, it won't be tenable as a defense, as a base of operations, I think.
But they lack combat field tactics.
Yeah.
If we could find a way to drop our soldiers, we could fly right over a castle right now and simply slide open the ramp and land on the inside, couldn't we? If a large enough fortress presented itself.
Well, that brings another idea, my lord, though it is far more dangerous. We can potentially have a smaller assault force infiltrate the castle. For if they have no tactics, no military prowess, a small elite force should be able to overwhelm them without undue delay.
Reasonable idea.
And
Glad
that
to
should
hold
leave
all these
enough.
options.
That should leave enough men to protect my lord and the children, and unfortunately, if we should fail, flee, leaving whoever behind.
If they fall behind, they stay behind.
I couldn't find the right word, so I didn't want to use those exact phrasing.
Well, we have 3 days until we arrive in this orbit around the planet. In that time, find out everything you can. Boyo, do what you can to find out everything about the weapon system. Father Michali, I leave it to you to make sure that Petar sees the light of God before we arrive on planet. Malmbjorn, I need need you
Yes,
to
sir.
figure out everything you can about your plans to be. Find out the best people to do the job, and if we can have the opportunity, I've seen some strange boats with closed tops in the cargo area that I'm told can last and fly around in the void just as this big ship does. So perhaps we could send down your strike team on that, or alternatively, we could slam down and drop people right into their castle if the opportunity presents itself.
I shall work on that right away, my lord. Though I must emphasize, I would highly suggest keeping the women and children out of conflict if we can.
As much as possible. It goes without saying I have my own, after all, to take care of. Mate, make sure that your men are able to manage any environment that they go into. I know that they were expecting something a little hotter and drier than this, but we have no idea what lies on the surface of another world.
Of course, my lord. I will get on that immediately.
Excellent, excellent. You're all free to leave. In the meantime, I will do my planning for battle. Everybody, feel free to roll a 3d6, and we'll tell you what you got here, because this will be a bit of a collective thing. Ooh, boyo!
Oh man,
That was a yummy roll.
That was a very nice roll, boyo. Malbjorn also very decent roll.
Oof.
No, this is good. This is all around quite nice. Okay, so let's start with Mate, because you're the guy who's getting your men at the ready. Fortunately for you, you are sufficiently trained enough that you think you got your guys ready for anything. If it's cold, they got heavy clothing in their packs. If it's wet, they got waxed cloth. If it's hot, they got extra water. Everything's taken care of.
We also have the women. The women folk. They can start making things.
This is true, and every
They have
man,
their
woman,
stuff.
and child will have to do their part. We're all we've got here. So let's move over to. Oh, sorry.
I sent you a message.
Oh, one moment. We'll get to that.
No, that's illegal.
No, it's encouraged actually. That was for something that happened before the session. Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was for like intimidating Bantahar to do what you wanted him to do.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And
Okay,
Malbjorn is a very intimidating guy, so you rolled quite well.
Okay, no, yeah, because I don't remember you explaining what the whole thing was about. So
yeah, we explained it in the block text. Basically, Bantahar will do whatever the fuck you want.
Okay, so just a personal, if you could, next time you give us individual information, also add a stupid summary for me. Just like dumb it down just a bit. Just as an extra.
Add a TLDR.
No, I love the full post.
No,
but I also need
add a TLDU. Too long didn't understand.
All right. Okay. So Boyo, let's talk about Boyo's role, because Boyo's really carrying the day here. Not to rub everybody's face in it, but that is actually a critical success for him, and it's the only critical success of all of them. So
right. I was close.
Boyo, it was close, but you're doing an entirely different type of skill than what you're truly specialized in.
No, I'm just joking.
And this is him doing his thing.
This is my thing.
Yeah, this is actually his thing. So long story short, Boyo, you have access to literally everything in that stat sheet that we sent you. But you also know that this ship, because it is a scout vessel, you know that it only has laser weaponry. It doesn't have the good stuff. You also know that they do have anti-laser electromagnetic screens. So there's a very realistic chance
an air assault isn't going to happen.
an air assault might not happen. You do, however, know that the entire planet only has 3 fortresses.
So,
Jeez.
as I suspected, very spread out.
Very spread out, yes.
We could conquer the planet.
We can. And the first one we land out, anybody who can see us, anybody on the planet who can see us, will simply suspect that we're just landing. As long as we don't then immediately go and try to take over another one.
How long? Sorry, no, continue. I'm loaded up with coffee, so I apologize for all the interruptions.
I know, right? You're a little hopped up, yeah.
Anybody, as long as we don't immediately take off and try to take over another one, anywhere we land, everyone else will simply expect that we're simply landing normally.
Indeed. Wonderful.
So
Then perhaps Father Mihali's plan would be the best. Petar might be able to score us this entire thing.
all right, I think maybe a combination. We attack on multiple fronts, including physically.
Go on.
A bit of deception to prevent us from being immediately swarmed by ships on their part. What did you say their name was? Starts with a P.
Oh, are you talking about the new captain?
No, the new
The Besgorix?
The Besgorix's name?
yeah.
Pitar.
Oh, Petar, yeah.
Think of it like Peter.
Yeah. So
It's probably Petar, actually, but yeah.
yeah, so a bit of deception on his part to prevent us from being swarmed by the other fortresses or ships, and a ground force to take over the one that we land at.
An excellent idea. That will be something well prepared for. I'll make sure that my own horse is properly mounted up and armored. I will lead the ground force. Boyo, if it comes to it, you shall man the weapons, as you know the most about them. We're putting our lives in your hands, Boyo. So, meanwhile, Father... Oh, wait. Malmbjorn, you were... God damn it, we can't remember right now. Our brain's farting. What did we tell you to do? Get your best men together and explain to them all that's going on. Yeah.
How many men is that exactly? How many men am I supposed to be finding here?
You have a specific number of dudes. You have
I have that. I have
50 Varangians.
So I have that listed under items. How many men am I supposed to be selecting out of those? Because you gave me 250 total.
Your best men are your Varangians.
Okay, that's what you mean by okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your best men are your Varangians. Yeah.
Quick question about Malmbjorn's men. How many of them know how to use the Besgorix weapons?
He's been training them actively the entire time.
Every single one of them, even the non-elites.
Well, the greatest thing about it is that you have thousands and thousands of them just lying around, so you can arm your guys up and they don't hurt the walls of the ship. So men can just shoot the walls and stuff for practice.
My lord, I also suggest we start training the women and children, at least in combat as well, just in case.
My God, have we really come to that?
I would prefer otherwise, sir. That is very unappealing, but should we fail, they need to be able to protect themselves. I do not plan to ever send them into combat, but they do need to learn how to protect themselves in some way. This is purely for their own protection. I would sooner fall upon my sword than send a child into the field of combat.
The Zupan looks at his wife with trepidation, and then sighs before turning back to Matei. Matei, you're closest to the common people. How would this be taken by our people? To put weapons in the hands of women and babes? Would it be tolerated?
If it was truly a last-ditch resort, and our very existence was at stake, yes.
And that is the point I am trying to emphasize. It is purely for their own survival. I will never intentionally send a child onto the field of combat.
But if we were to keep them in here and somebody were to invade, then yes, I have no doubt that every single woman and child possible and capable would take up arms to defend themselves.
Boyo, you were speaking?
Apologies, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I firmly believe that because there are so few of us, every person should know how to do as many jobs as possible, including fighting.
Indeed. Understood. As a reasonable request. Father Mihaly, you're the final word of judgment on this. Do you have any dissenting opinions on the training of the women and the children? Just in case.
I'm not so sure about this.
We'll talk it out, boys.
Father, if it should come if it should come down to slavery to these creatures, I would sooner. Oh, I had it. Oh, sorry, I had it. If there was any other way, I wouldn't have never suggested it in the first place.
Because if it truly comes down to it, and we do reach a point where something goes horribly wrong, and none of the fighters, none of the soldiers are capable of doing anything to protect the women and children, would you really just want them to stand there and be enslaved or killed?
No, I would not. If it must be necessary to do so, then I suppose it is necessary to do so to train them.
Because we don't want to send them out into battle with us, but
no, of course not.
We don't want them to stand around and be slaughtered if we fail.
I would believe that the Lord would understand that protecting one's life is even if they should pray for they would
it happens, man.
That the Lord should surely grant redemption to those who only wish to protect themselves, even if it does end up in the death of another. They could pray for redemption.
Yes, they could.
Then it shall be done. Arm the women, train the children. Everybody just fell completely out of Roll20. That was a little weird.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm still in.
Yeah, I'm still.
You all popped right back in.
Okay.
Apparently, some thing. So yeah, arm the women, train the children. Why we don't know what that's about, boyo. But
I was just making noise.
okay. Fuck are you? So yeah, arm the women, train the children. We shall be ready for whatever comes. Mate, you are entitled to a squire. I will give you one before we reach orbit. And Boyo, if you like, I have smart men that can help you with the weaponry.
That would be helpful.
Finally, Father Mihaly. Father Mihaly, you're in charge of getting Petar to, play along.
Oh, geez, what is that?
Motherfucker, boyo.
I didn't do that. I'm on a different window entirely now.
Okay.
We got 2 purple dice. I think somebody needs to change the color.
Okay. So Father Mihaly, you go to Petar. Petar, he's not so sure. He's coming around to Christianity, but to turn against the Empire, it keeps civil war from breaking out. Mihaly, that's for you to respond to.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to think of how to respond. So,
Okay. That's fine. Take your time because I think I need to take a 5 minute. Sorry.
hey.
No
So
problem.
what exactly does he say to me?
Well, how can he turn against the Empire? The Empire has held peace and kept civil war from happening between the great clans for centuries.
And I tell him, but how long can that really last?
What do you mean?
Oh god, I actually don't know how to do role playing for this.
Remember, Father Mihaly, it doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. What matters is that you convince him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
That's very much how you would be thinking right now. Sorry, not to tell you how to play your character or whatever, but
fuck.
convince this alien critter like your life depends on it, because it might.
Well, let's see. And what would God want you to do, Petar?
I don't know. I haven't. I go to you for that, Father Mihaly. I haven't read enough of the Bible yet, or interpreted it as you have.
Well, isn't it obvious? He would want you to fight on his side, and that side is that of turning against this monstrous empire.
But my empire is vast and grand. How Christians are strong, certainly.
God is vaster and grander, infinitely more so than some empire.
Okay, you're gonna have to roll a fast talk here.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah, no, definitely. That's no, God is greater, God is bigger. You're gonna have to roll a fast talk on this.
3d6.
3d6, yeah. This is fucking great. Alright. But how can God be bigger? How can God be so vast? The Empire stretches across thousands of worlds.
Well, God is not just vaster than that. Is he not the creator of all things? Have I not told you so? This would include. Why'd you roll again?
No, keep going.
Okay.
The dreaded mystery roll.
Yeah. He hasn't just created these worlds. He has created all worlds and the universe in which they reside, including yours, including mine. He is greater than all of that.
Of course. Right. And in the story of Babel, you You have mentioned that you were trying to reach the very heavens themselves where he resides, and he slapped humanity down, and that is why it has taken so long. Of course, Father. I'm so sorry. I didn't ever mean to doubt you.
I forgive you, and the Lord does as well.
Thank you.
Now then, I ask you again, will you assist us?
I will do what I can. I was not high of rank, but if perhaps Sir Malmbjorn would be to get the new captain to give me the important information, then I could play the part better.
I will speak to him about this.
Can you repeat that? It sounded a bit disjointed.
Father Mihaly, repeat that to him. Go join him.
No. You when you said to give him what, Captain?
The security and details and things like that. The requisite details.
Oh.
Because Petar wasn't a command officer or anything like that.
Okay, yeah, I'm just trying to figure out like what information I'm supposed to be giving him then.
Well, that's why Father Mihaly is going to roleplay that out with you.
Oh, okay. Wait. Well, okay.
Okay. I go to Malmbjorn.
Excellent.
Okay. Greetings, Malmbjorn. I have spoken to Petar, and after a bit of lengthy conversation, he has agreed to help us.
Oh, and are you sure you can trust him?
I believe I can, but he has need of certain details with which to make assisting us easier for him.
What kind of details? What does he need from me?
I will allow him to tell you that himself. Petar, you may come in.
Wait, do they speak English now, or do I speak bug now?
Petar speaks Greek.
Okay, yeah. Oh, that's English. Yeah, you know what I meant.
Everybody speaks Greek. Yeah, yeah. Petar actually speaks Greek quite well because of his throwing himself into the study of his Bible.
Okay.
Yes.
So, and obviously the Bible is in Greek where you're from right now because everything's in Greek. Petar speaks Greek quite well for a 3-foot long 20-legged centipede monster. So Petar comes in and cringes when he sees you, and only barely comes into the door and goes, "Oh, Sir Malmbjorn, thank you so much for your mercy." Malmbjorn, it appears, says nothing.
I'm just trying to think of a reply.
A fittingly dismissive response.
We don't know. We think the silence is actually perfect. So as you say nothing to it, he cringes his way forward and says, I have agreed to play my part in gaining peace and overthrowing the Empire and its godless ways, but in order to convince them that I have some form of authority, I must have the security codes and other such designations that are appropriate to a command officer. If you could perhaps allow me to speak to the new commander, Bantahar, he could give me those codes and I could pretend to be a command officer like him. And that way we could convince them to let us land in peace.
Okay. I'm out of character right now, so I'm thinking.
Are you trying to see if he's lying to you?
Well, that was one idea. Yeah, I was trying to see how I was going to go about this. So yeah, I want to see if I can.
You want to detect lies on this fool?
Yeah, I don't know.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
No. Go ahead. Roll it. Roll 3D. You don't know much about them. You're not Matei, so you haven't been sitting around and monitoring their
the behaviors
gesture and their behaviors and stuff like that. But you're pretty sure this fool gets the scratch of what's going on here, if that makes sense. You're pretty sure he knows that if he crosses you for even a second, you will absolutely chop him in half.
He heard about what happened to the last guy.
Everybody knows what happened to the last guy.
Yeah.
Lying will be punished immediately.
Yeah, they don't like talking to each other, generally speaking, but you better believe they talk to each other about this.
Right. And my previous information is that they're basically out for themselves, so we can definitely use that.
That's pretty much what everybody's kind of come to the conclusion of, it seems. Yeah, they're pretty much out for numero uno. That's probably why Bantahar has been so cooperative. And Petar, if he is actually coming around to the side of Jesus Christ, he might have some kind of growing loyalty to the cause in his own, way. So yeah, you're pretty sure that Bantahar understands what the score is here. He's probably not going to betray you, even if he knows he could get away with it, just, because he really does like his life continuing for even just a few more minutes,
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And meanwhile, Father Mihaly spends all of his time around Bantahar and stuff like that, and so far, Bantahar has only, from what you hear, Bantahar has only been asking about Jesus rather than scheming and asking probing questions.
Gotcha. All right.
One of the few.
I'm gonna lean in real close to what I think is its face, and I'm gonna tell it quite matter-of-factly that if I find out that you're betraying or sending some secret message, then he shall suffer a fate worse than what his captain did.
Oh, he puts a cross over himself and bows his head and puts two of his tentacle arms together. Oh,
do I need an?
Oh, good. No, good sir. That will not be necessary. I swear.
And do I need an? Hold on. Let me finish. Do I need an intimidation roll, or is it already past that?
He's quite intimidated by you.
Okay, that's all.
To put this into perspective, Bantahar is like maybe 3 feet long, probably closer to like 2'10", 2'9", or something like that. He has a size modifier of -2. Malmbjorn, much of the party actually, but especially Malmbjorn. Malmbjorn is so big that he has a size modifier of +1. like he's large, bro, and your foot is almost as long as this guy. For real. Like you don't have to. He is intimidated by you.
Okay. Father, you were saying something?
Yeah, I take notice of how Petar reacted to whatever you whispered to him, and I give you a glare. I say nothing. I just give you a glare.
On the plus side, it's cool that Petar is hiding behind the cross now. For you like that.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care if they claim to be. I wouldn't say man of God now. It would be bug of God, but followers of the Lord. They have much to prove to me first. So keep your. Well, hold up. I don't want to seem hostile to the Father.
That wouldn't be a good idea.
No.
That's true. Father Mihaly and Malmbjorn are kind of like tied in position for the top role in the party. So yeah, it's drama.
Yeah.
That's Father, fun, the only thing holding my hand, staying my hand, is you. they have much to prove in my eyes. So keep your bug pet on a leash.
Oh, that's
We like that term, to keep your bug pet on a leash. That's very much something that we would see some big giant Nordic warrior telling like an Orthodox priest or whatever.
Yeah.
Like very much. Like that's some cool shit. All right, so you guys, you're basically got everything in hand right there. So we are going to enter into the end section block text. If all is well, unless anybody has some things that they wanna talk about.
Nope.
Boyo.
No, I think we pretty much covered everything.
Okay. Matei, Malmburn, you're all good?
I believe that I am good.
I think I'm good as well.
All right. Okay, that's great. That's awesome. Looks like we got it all taken care of. 2 seconds. We're just gonna...
Yeah, being this close to the planet, I think we've pretty much got everything dialed.
Did has the Trojan the horse incident happened before or after our timeline? I'm not sure.
Long ago. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like ancient Greek stuff.
Yeah, I'm not.
That's
I am,
literally part of your history, being from the Greek area.
okay,
Yeah.
because I am not a good.
Well, not Malbjorn actually, but
Yeah, I was gonna say not so much Malmbjorn.
I am not
else, basically.
Yeah, in real life, I am not a student of history. I fucking suck at history. So.
Me too.
No, as a peasant, my Matei most likely wouldn't know the story of the Iliad and the Odyssey.
Okay, so
Actually,
I was
at
gonna
the
ma-
time,
I was-
that's probably one of the few stories from Greek history that Matei would know.
because I was gonna make an
They were still
in-game.
telling stories about that to their children, like oral history style, at that time in history.
Okay.
Yeah, that was still a big part of the culture.
I just thought that'd be for a little bit higher up.
Matei, you grew up a Roman citizen.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, just think about that. You grew up a citizen of the Roman Empire.
But I also grew up as a peasant in a fishing village.
The story of Romulus and Remus was told by the lowest of the plebs and the slaves in Rome for literally until it broke. And the story of Romulus and Remus is the sequel story to the story of the Trojan War. So children also learned that in their cribs too.
Okay.
So the reason why I brought that up is because I think Boyo made a comment that I wanted to make a Trojan comparison to, but I couldn't remember if I didn't know if it was within the timeline before or after where we are.
Absolutely.
It would have been,
It
yes.
is a staple story. And Malmbjorn, you have recently adopted the Greek culture and the Roman culture. So those stories weren't told to you in your crib. They're fresh in your mind. You read them in the last couple of years.
Yeah, and at the time when Boyo was giving his talks, like I didn't know if I could bring it up or not because I didn't know where it happened.
100%. You're totally
I would have made that comparison, but it's like I couldn't. I didn't know.
But I thought since I was a peasant, I probably wouldn't know that story.
Yeah, no problem, dogs. We got you.
So, all right. Well, I have nothing else.
All right. So, approaching a system is generally considered by the Besgorix to be quite a treat for the senses, so the viewing stations are all turned toward the incoming planet and opened for full display. Furthermore, the Besgor spotting equipment says that it has come to a rare occasion where all of the planets of the system are fairly lined up, and so should be easily viewable from the ship as it plunges toward this strange new star. As you fall into the system, the first thing you see is a fantastic large planet, larger than any you'd spotted when journeying from the sun, and the rings upon it are so much more than that of your own system. Turned on its side, the gigantic ring sticks out into the void up and down around the gigantic world, cutting through the blackness and allowing you to see all manner of glorious details on your way past. And then, beyond those planet... Oh, one moment. Okay, no, yeah, we're good. Sorry, we thought we skipped a line. And then, beyond those planets, 3 more swirling gas giants, as the Besgor call them, each with their own fantastic rings at different angles, though all of which are less fantastic than the outermost ring. Huge things, you understand, that can easily be seen even after having left them far behind. Beyond them, you pass different planets much the size of your own Earth, and one particularly extra-large rocky world, each with moons of their own. And then, Jenterzi, a beautiful blue and green dot in the sky, as it comes closer to you, fills you with familiarity and comfort. Like the glorious calls of a man on the ship crying, "Land ho!" You see the land coming toward you. Covered mostly with water, just as Earth was, it has many tiny island chains throughout, alongside a very few large land masses that drift apart from each other rather than staying connected, as your own land masses were on Earth. Great constructs float on the waves, but the land itself seems mostly barren, rolling fields and fantastic mountains, craggy valleys and dense forest, but no communities. Almost entirely unused, it would seem as though the Besgorix have little care for the land of a planet, instead caring far more for the waters. But even so, that leaves a capable place for you to land and no capacity for the Besgorix to stop you. A beautiful blue-white moon glows distant from the planet, and a smaller moon, rocky and gray like Earth's own Luna, orbits the pair of planets dancing with each other. One can only imagine what it must look like from the planet itself. Furthermore, this is one of the newest colonies, you are told by Bantahar. Though valuable, it is not well defended, only guarded by 3 simple fortresses, one on the coast of the largest continent, one upon the depths farthest from any landmass, and one between a delightful array of islands, all fortresses roughly equidistant from each other around the planet. Upon getting close to the world, the glass raises and the bar removes itself from the control console, and upon the speaking machine that carries messages not only from one end of the ship to the other, but also from one ship to another, calls a voice in the Besgor language, which some of you have even managed to discern. What you can grasp of the language, you hear this. Scout Ship 4872385. You were not expected and have not sent word of your return. Please offer command codes and mission identification and provide a situational report. And we can say that's the end of the session for now.
All right. Leave us on a cliffhanger.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
get interesting.
That seems like a cliffhanger to me. I was just about to...
Oh yeah, that's a cliffhanger, baby. Thanks for coming, everybody. If you liked what you saw here today, do all the great things. Everybody feel free to say goodbye.
Adios.
Bye.
Goodbye,
See ya.
everybody. See you next time.